should have started, but you know what? Praise the Lord that He is always available. I'm sorry that I'm late this morning, but I'm grateful to be here with you all. I'm going to be posting real quick in this in between time. I'm going to be posting those lyrics in the different sites that we're on, except for YouTube. YouTube, I put the songs we're singing in the comment section today as well, so that if you wanted to, you could look up those lyrics since I can't put it in your comment section due to a limited amount of characters that I can put in your comment section. So Facebook, on Facebook, we have it in your comment sections. So you should be able to just go there and find the words beautifully spaced out today. Praise the Lord. That's a thing for me. I like it when they're spaced out properly. But if you'd like to join me there, that would be great. One more place that I need to put these lyrics in. If you're tuning in, you want to tell me how your day is going, go ahead and drop that in the comment section too. I would love to see how life is treating you on your side. Good morning, Auntie. I see your comment there. Good to see you here this morning. And yes, okay. So I've got them posted to your different platforms. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, once again, you guys can tune in or find the lyrics online and pull them in as we go through our devotional this morning. And for those of you who might be tuning in for the first time, we are going through the question that is listed in our caption above. It says, "Oh friends, do you love Jesus?" And we kind of just been reflecting on this question and really asking ourselves if we love God and if we love Jesus, the way the Bible asks us to love them. Not just that superficial love, but like deep down inside, do we love him? Last week we talked about, do we trust him? And just learning about God's love this week and really kind of putting it into perspective that we should be falling in love with him over and over again when we realize how much he loves us. But today we're going to go ahead and get started. We'll kick it off with a couple of songs and then we'll get into our passage. If you want to open your Bibles to John chapter 4, that's the chapter we're going to be in this morning as we get started here. So let's go ahead and sing our songs. I've got to pull up some chords here because I need to see how I'm supposed to be playing this so I don't butcher this badly. Okay. So we're going to start with a song called Think About His Love. And this is really an opportunity for all of us to take some time and really reflect on what God has done for us. If he's revealed himself to you in any kind of way, I just want you to reflect on that. If you want to share it, that'd be great too. Just thinking about how God has been good, not focusing on the negative things that you might be experiencing in life, but looking past those trees, as we talked about last week, where we have a tendency to zoom in on the one thing that God might not be revealing himself in, or the one thing we've been praying for but we haven't gotten. And because we're so fixated on those things, we kind of have that tunnel vision on that tree that we're not able to see all the goodness that is around him. So around us, that is given by him. So this morning, I really just want you to take some time, as I am taking some time, to really reflect on this love that God has for us and what has he done in your life that has shown you his love in a mighty way. All right, so let's sing this song. I'm playing the G progression. However, I am capoed up to the fourth fret if you wanted to play along. So that would be G. Yeah, that's the fourth fret. Capo on the fourth, G progression. Let's sing. Think about his love. Think about his goodness. Think about his grace that's brought us through. For as high as the heavens above, so great is the measure of our Father's love. Great is the measure of our Father's love. Let's sing that one more time. Think about His love. Think about His goodness. Think about His grace that's brought us through. For as high as the heavens above, so great is the measure of our Father's love. Great is the measure of our Father's love. So how could I forget His love? And how could I forget His mercy? He satisfies. He satisfies. He satisfies my desire. Great is the measure of our Father's love. Let's sing that one more time from the top. Think about His love. Think about His goodness. Think about His grace that's brought us through. For as high as the heavens above, so great is the measure of our Father's love. Great is the measure of our Father's love. And how could I forget His love? And how could I forget His mercy? He satisfies. He satisfies. He satisfies my desire. Great is the measure of our Father's love. So great is the measure of our Father's love. Oh, great is the measure of our Father's love. That's a song we used to sing way back in the day. Great is the measure of our Father's love. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Morning, Auntie Venda. Morning, George and Sandra. And good morning, Vanji. George, Sandra, how are you guys doing on your side of Colleen? I hope your guys' water and electricity are holding up during these times. One of the things I am grateful for is that my house has fortunately not lost any power or electricity, and our water is still flowing. And so I'm really grateful for that. And if you guys can, just keep praying for those who are without at this time, that they will be able to find either a helping hand, or that the power will be restored, or the water will start flowing here soon. And I know they're expecting, with the thawing of the pipes, that there might be some homes that experience the pipes bursting on them. So if you guys can just pray for those who are here in Texas, that that they won't have to experience anything worse than what they might already be going through. So we're going to sing our next song, our last song for today. And this one's called Power of Your Love. And like I said, we're reflecting on God's love. So our songs are revolving around that. But this is just an opportunity to reflect on what God has done for you. So hopefully you're being taken back to the times where the Lord has really worked in your life. And hopefully you can testify to the power of the Lord, the love of God. Okay, so I'm playing the D chord progression. George, if you're playing along, I'm playing in the D scale, and I got my capo on the 3rd fret. Okay, so capo on the 3rd, D progression. Lord, I come to you. Let my heart be changed, renewed, flowing from the grace that I found in you. And Lord, I've come to know weaknesses I've seen in me will be stripped away by the power of your love. Hold me close, let your love surround me. Breathe me near, draw me to your side, and as I wait, I'll rise up like the eagle, and I will soar with you. Your spirit lead me on by the power of your love. Lord, unveil my eyes. Let me see you face to face, the knowledge of your love as you live in me. Lord, renew my mind as it will unfold in my life, in living every day, by the power of your love. Hold me close, let your love surround me, and breathe me near, draw me to your side, and as I wait, I'll rise like the eagle, and I will soar with you. Your spirit lead me on by the power of your love. Let's try the chorus one more time. Hold me close and let your love surround me, and bring me near, draw me to your side, and as I wait, I'll rise up like the eagle, and I will soar with you. Your spirit lead me on by the power of your love, and I will soar with you. Your spirit lead me on in the power of your love. Now, I'm pretty sure I sing a lot of that wrong, but it's okay. I'm grateful that the Lord doesn't look at our perfection in our performance, but instead looks at our heart of worship. That He's more concerned about what our hearts are saying than what our voices sound like, or the fact that I'd probably sing alto for part of that song. Let's go ahead and turn our Bibles to John chapter 4. John chapter 4 has one of my favorite stories written in it. It's talking about the woman at the well. And this is one of my favorite stories because this is not a person who is like actively looking for Christ, but actually really avoiding whatever it is that the Lord is, or whatever. They're avoiding people, period. So I'm going to allow you to go ahead and read that on your own time. Sorry, I'm super distracted because I think my daughter's trying to get in. So I'll let you read it fully through on your own time, but I just want to highlight a couple of things here that really just shows the kind of love that God is willing to give each and every one of us, not just those who are part of the church fold already, or those who are living lives near perfection, if that's even a thing, or at least think so. This is a woman who is hiding from society because she has a past, and so much so that she's not trying to go and get water when everybody else is getting water. Like, she's trying to go and get water at the hottest point of the day so that nobody else is going to interact with her. She's avoiding people at all costs. So she's going at the hottest point of the day where nobody else will be at the well, and avoiding the social interactions she would have had if she went to the well during the regular times when the day was cooler. But she's avoiding people. She doesn't want people to see her. So she goes to the well at this time of day, and there's only one other person there who's meeting her at this well. And they get into a dialogue, and I'm sure most of us are familiar with the story. They get into this dialogue of, how he wants water, and he asks her for water, and she's like, you shouldn't be asking me for water. You're a Jew, I'm Samaritan. We don't get along. We're beefing, so we can't. You shouldn't be asking me for these things. And yet still, he looks past the fact that she's a Samaritan, looks past the fact that she's a woman, because back in those days, even husbands and wives didn't speak out in public. We always spoke at home. It was part of their culture that if a woman and wife wanted to speak, it was within the confines of their home. It wasn't something they did in public. So even just speaking to a woman, period, is something that shouldn't have been taking place. And then just the knowledge that he had that he was the Messiah and she's a sinner woman, and we'll read later that he indeed knows who she is and what it is that she's what she's been through, and what she's experienced in life. He ignores those three red flags, or he ignores those three facts about this woman, and continues to converse with her like, hey, you know what? If you knew who it was that is offering you this water, or who's asking of you for this water, you would ask of him instead, and he would give you this water. He says that flat out. If you ask me, I would give you this water, and the water I'm trying to give you, you will not you will not thirst anymore. Like, you'll have no desire to come back to this well, to come and whatever you're thirsting for, you'll receive. Now she's completely taken by this. She's like, man, I don't have to come to this well anymore. I don't have to come out of my house anymore to risk people seeing me, maybe talking about me still. I don't have to do that. Give me some of this water. She starts to desire this water. You know what? Let me have some of this water. I would love to have it. I don't have to come back to this well. And she specifically says that I don't have to come back to this well again. And then he says, okay, I'll give you this water, but I just need you to go home, get your husband, y'all both come over here, and we can work this thing out. And she says, sir, you know what? I don't have a husband, so I don't know what you're trying to do here, but I don't have a husband. And he says, you know what? You're right. You don't have a husband. you've had 5, and the man that you're currently shacked up with is not your husband. And this part really stands out to me because he reveals to her that he knows exactly where she's been and who she's been in her past. She knows exactly what it is that she has a record of in society. Sure that all the people around her town knew who she was and how many men she's been married to. And just, man, that type of rejection of being married 5 times and being rejected those 5 times, shacking up with someone who doesn't want to doesn't want to be married to you. And she must have been just flushed with a bunch of emotions. And here I acknowledge the fact that even though he knew what it is that she did, he already told her she could have the water. He already offered her this water that could quench her thirst. And it wasn't like he was taking it off the table once she revealed who it is that she was. He intentionally wanted her to know that I want to give you this water, even though you're stuck in the sin you're currently stuck in. And I know that you're stuck in sin, but he gave her an experience that changed her life completely. So she tries to change the subject, oh, I see that you're a prophet, and my father's worshipped on this mountain over here, and you guys worship over there, and which one's the real one? And to me, it seems like she's just trying to change the subject to get off the fact that she just got told who she was. But it's a very valid discussion. It's talking about the history between the Samaritans and the Jews, and who's right. You guys wouldn't allow us to worship on that mountain. We have our own worship place. What's going on here? And then he tells her, it's going to come a time, which is now, where it doesn't matter where you're worshiping, as long as you're worshiping in spirit and truth. And it wasn't about those old traditions that you guys have built up and which specific place. Let's break those things down. So he answers her question. She says, I know that there's a Messiah coming, and he reveals to her that he is the Messiah. Then the disciples come up, and they're kind of just like, what? Why is he talking to this woman? I can't believe it. Just kind of judging, I guess you could say. And her reaction to that experience with Jesus, just pay attention to it. It tells us that she goes into the town to where all the people are, and she begins to tell them, come and see a man who told me all I've done. Is he the Messiah? Simple and plain. Come and see this man who's told me everything I've done. Is he the Messiah? And just contrast that with who she was at the beginning of this chapter. In the beginning of the chapter, she was coming to the well with no people there, avoiding people at all costs, hiding the past that they had drug around. She had created for herself. And that person in the beginning of the chapter to the end of this story is polar opposites, hiding from everyone and trying to hold their story to themselves, to running out into the community and telling them, this man told me everything I've done. And I'm pretty sure all of them are probably like, everything? Does he know everything? And he's like, come. She says, come, is this the Messiah? And all of them are drawn to him because of her testimony. And that experience completely took her story, her history, and made it into her story. It was her, her shame to her way of letting people know that this could be the Messiah. He used her to bring others to him, even though she is still living with this man. Now, what I mean is, it doesn't matter what it is that we are experiencing in life. If we open our hearts to experience Jesus, he can give us an experience that helps us turn our story, no matter what it's been, where we've been, what we're currently stuck in. He can take those experiences and use it to bring him glory. Use it to change our lives. Use it to no longer bring us shame and darkness and guilt and guilt-riddenness. He can use our story, no matter how bad it may seem, and he can really use it to touch lives for him And in our experience or in our sharing of him, the more our love for him will grow. The realization that we have that whoever we have been or whoever we've chosen to be is irrelevant to his willingness to use you and to love you. I don't know about you, but for me, that makes my love for him grow. That he can save me no matter where I've been. This woman has had 5 husbands, living with somebody that she shouldn't be living with. Clearly not on the top of the list for at least our church. Like, think about your church today. If somebody walked in and was currently living with somebody and had 5, you know, 5 husbands prior to, we're not really trying to recruit them into our like witness program where we go and share the love of Christ. You know, typically we probably would give them some time to try to figure themselves out. Are you really in? Are you really not? You know, there's this whole lineup that we have to do, but with Jesus, all we have to do is open our hearts for him to give us this living water and use this for his will. And he can, and he will if you allow him to. The difference in this woman's life is she experienced Jesus. She experienced him in a way that was life-changing. She realized he loved her regardless of who she was. If we want to grow in our love for God, if we want to grow in our love for him, we need to experience Jesus in a way that is life-changing. And it's simple for her. He offered her water. It doesn't seem like a big old, you know, oh, she had this huge experience where he parted the mountains for her and raised the dead to life in front of her in order for her to believe. He simply acknowledged who she was and still offered her that water. You got to give God an opportunity. You got to open your hearts to an opportunity to experience Jesus. If there are things in your life that you're holding tender to yourself, it might be blocking you from really experiencing Jesus because we're so fixated on what it is. For her, it was fixated on who she was or the traditions of her culture where they had to worship on specific mountains and all that. She was so fixated on that. But for us, it's the same thing. We might be fixated on whatever sin we're currently stuck in or what rank in society we might have, when in reality, God is interested in you and can still give you a special experience with him if you allow him to. So I want to challenge you as we're trying to answer this question, oh friends, do you love Jesus? If you are unsure, 2 things for you. 1, open your hearts to an experience with Christ. And 2, it said here, if only you knew the person who was offering you this water. Folks, if we don't take time to really try to get to know Christ for ourselves, not by watching someone else's sermon, not by, reading memes, watching whatever it is, movies about Christ, if we're not going to his word and really trying to discover him for ourselves, then how are we supposed to trust him to give us that water? So open your hearts to an opportunity to experience Christ. And 2, you want to get to know Christ. Because if only you knew who it was that was trying to give you water, you would ask him for this drink, and he would quench your thirst no matter what it is. All right, let's pray. Father God, we just want to thank you so much for your love. We want to thank you for your mercy, your grace, the fact that you chase after us for an opportunity to experience you. You didn't have to be at that well, but you were. And you were intentionally to meet this woman and to change her life. That's how far you're willing to go in order to reach us. Help us to realize that this woman at the well is experienced something that we also can. And no matter what well we're sitting at, no matter what well we're coming to, at whatever time of day it is, help us to remember that you still are able to quench whatever thirst it may be that is yearning in our hearts. Help us to trust that you will be able to meet that need and satisfy it. As we sang today, you satisfy our heart's desires. Because great is the measure of your love. I ask you today to give us an experience of you, Lord, Help us to grow in our knowledge of you and in our awareness of your love. Help us to be able to grow in those areas that we may be able to grow in our love for you as we love you because you first loved us. I pray a special prayer for those of us who are here in Texas, especially those who are living without water or without electricity at this time. Lord, we ask you to please meet their needs, open a door near them, or help their pipes to thaw out so that they could have water. We ask you to be with each family and help them to be safe at this time. And we just ask you, God, to help this winter storm to pass over and help us to be able to get out of this situation so that more people can be safe. We thank you, Lord, for hearing and answering our prayers and for the chance to experience you. In your name we pray. Amen. All right, folks, thank you so much for tuning in for our morning manna today. We've got one more day this week to reflect on this specific question before we pick it back up next Sunday with a new question and new topic. So I will see you tomorrow, 9:30 in the morning for our morning manna. God bless y'all.